Hey there, strangers. It's time for another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Bro Jim, and today we're going to get back into coding through Unity 3D. Trying to work on my game, GGG, and there is still plenty to do on it, but I'm at a difficult impasse right at this time, and it hasn't exactly been easy. I've been kind of trying to fight through this for a while now, but I haven't had too much success on it, so looks like everything's pretty much set up here, so let's go ahead and get it live. How you strangers doing? Staying healthy? Staying inside? Hopefully. Hope you're doing okay. I know it's a trying time for a lot of people right now, but, you know, you gotta keep yourself healthy, gotta keep others around you healthy, you know, do what you can. So, again, I continue to post the uh, Hope from Home. I do actually have a link for my donation page for that if anyone wants to. You can just do the exclamation point charity, and that should bring up the links for you. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that right now. There we go. I don't know how much longer there is for before they stop their taking in donations, but it's available if anyone wants to. So, okay, so we are going to continue where we left off. I was able to, I believe I was able to fix the size of the AI agents. So it now looks to be the right amount of size with the tiles being the same equal size, meaning that I was able to shrink just the prefab and not the shrink everything. I think what my problem was that when I shrink everything down, or um, when I did the scaling for the prefab, it tried to scale the overall size of the board where that prefab was, which affects the positioning of said prefab. I don't want to have that happen, so I wanted to make sure that that was being done correctly. So right now I'm still working on these two issues, but I'm getting a little bit closer to the solution. Finding the solution has not exactly been easy for me though, so So, for those of you that might not be aware or haven't seen my past streams about this, um, the skip the new version for now. The problem that I seem to be facing with this is that um, um, hmm, how do I explain it? Okay, so um, so the the board that I'm using right now is a hexagonal tile map. Okay, yeah, let me see if I can actually bring it up. I don't know whether or not I left it in error based or not. Okay, so here's the map. Okay, and it's a hexagonal tile map with the um, um, with it, pointy top, up and down, everything other than the um, flat top and bottom and so on and so forth. So I do this to try to mimic it being a triangle. Um, and still allow for AI agents to move around the board fairly easily. The problem with this, though, is that when I add in the artificial intelligence agents into the game, you're not seeing them right now because obviously I'm getting an error with them. Um, the the positioning of the agents themselves are coming out as though they are still stuck in a um, like a chessboard tile based square square tile map, and the positioning of them is not matching up with what I need to have, with these tiles themselves. uh, I've been searching for a couple of weeks now. um, a couple of weeks meaning that I do this once a week. Okay, I do these coding streams once a week to kind of keep my skills up to snuff. Um, to continue working on, um, to keep myself occupied and, continue working on software development, even though I'm not actually in the career right at the moment. So, um, so here's the rub, is the fact that even though I'm placing the AI units in the locations where the tiles are, you know, the um, I'm building the hex columns and rows based off of a integer value that um, allows for the tiles to be set correctly. That does not, unfortunately, translate to the prefabs that I've been trying to create. So I've been pretty much been hitting a roadblock on this, and I can't seem to find a solution for it. I wish I could. Boy, do I wish I could. But so far, my searching has been in vain. So I'll continue to work on this until I get past this roadblock. And the reason why I'm really going heavy duty into this problem is the fact that um, this is pretty much the bread and butter of the game. If I can't get the humans to spawn themselves, then what am I going to do when I'm asking for the player to click a tile to set up specific barriers? How will I handle enemies spawning in the right spots? How will I handle movement of said AI along the tiles? It all kind of stacks with this particular problem. And if I can't figure it out, then this game is pretty much dead in water. And um, I mean, if there is no solution, if I can't find a solution to this, then I'm going to have to basically take the code that I have, scrap Unity, and try to build this using just a standard language such as like C++ or the like. But that would mean that I would have to build the board again from scratch. I would have to build the placement of said board, and the tile placement would be a little bit more problematic. So I would have to do the I would have to like build the map from scratch without any help from the engine of Unity whatsoever. And I would most likely need to use redblob.com or redblobgames.com a lot more than what I've had to do. The usage of the tile map here kind of shortcuts a little bit of what Red Blob Games is all about. So in the sense that the tile placement is kind of handled already, but the if I kind of scrap Unity, then I would have to kind of lean on the mathematics, the computations to try to get the sprites to move, sprites to animate, making sure that the board kind of remains in place, remains rendered. I mean, there would be a lot of details that need to be kind of handled if I, dropped Unity. I don't want to. That would put up a lot more of a it would feel like I'm putting a lot more strain on myself. um, because Unity is an engine, it's a tool that you can use to try to shortcut some of the methods that you might not be aware of handling. Um, so, so before I was doing a lot of the map storage, you know, getting the, rough ideas to, up triangle, with the arrays arranged, you know, the way you want them to be arranged. And so I've been able to get through that. I've been able to get through the um, Kushkal's algorithm to build myself a maze using the resources that are available. But if I scrap Unity, then that would mean that I would have to um, look into, building more of the, the dimensions, the locations, um, you know, I would have to be doing more of the calculations to handle not only building the map, but handling the placement of said units. So, and while, you know, if you don't want to use Unity, this is a great resource if you want to um, create something using hexagonal coordinates and the like. And, the placement of them, the construction of them, blah, blah, blah. So, um, see the spacing and whatnot. Um, so, this is a great resource if you're just kind of wanting to program it out just by yourself, you know, um, C++ and more, and the like. Okay. Um, but Unity has some nice features that allows for you to kind of handle that a little bit. Okay. It also has some extras, such as cameras, such as, you know, mouse clicking and so on and so forth. I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I'm still way early on that for now. But again, camera placement is also going to be another problem that I'm going to have to deal with if I can't get the AI to work. If the camera is using the, square-based um, instead of tile-based positioning. Hmm. But so that's where we're at currently, there, folks. So um, now, obviously, I do have a runtime error. So let's go into the code and find out where the problem is and why. So we are looking at game manager at 167. So let's let's go ahead and go there. 167. Okay, so we're here. All right. Okay, I remember what's going on now. So here's what I was kind of messing with a little bit. So under the game manager here, I have, well, under the board manager script, I'm putting in a lot of, like the prefabs and like under this so that I could reference those those prefabs, those tiles, and whatnot. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have the the sprites that I want being used for the prefabs. Problem is that um, the when I try to include the prefab into this particular spot here, it's not the full prefab. It feels as though it just kind of puts the script in there, and that's it. So it's kind of leaving out everything that I've kind of done with the prefab itself. Now, don't get me wrong, um, it's been kind of working okay in that um, the the object itself um, is being placed on the map, but at the same time, I'm afraid that that might be kind of breaking um, what's needed. See, as you can see, these prefabs are not being placed, well, based off of their locations here and the fact that they're on a horizontal plane. I have to imagine that they needed to go here and here. 9 and 6 and 7 and 6. So they're on the same column, but because they're in a still in a space that isn't really lining up with the rest of the map, as you can see here, the background is not lining up with the rest of the map here, and that's why I'm wondering what's going on here. It's not snapping to the it's not snapping to the tile map resource grid at all, and that's where that's what I've been kind of fighting right at the moment. So the I don't know whether or not I'm going to be um, I don't know whether this right here is causing a problem or not. You know, the script in place of the prefab. I don't really know. Um, so far, it's looking like the prefab's being placed okay on the map. Hmm. Okay. Now that I look at this, I think I have the wrong naming convention for the sprites here. So let me go ahead and try to fix those a little bit. Um, okay. Okay, don't really need that. It's not the right one. I need to change this into 3 different types of hunters. Goal, ghost, goblin. Oh, I need a 4th. There we go. Alright, so let's make sure that that's all taken care of here first. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. If I put, yeah, I can't put that there yet. I need the actual scripts in this. Let's see. Let's see. Add component. I don't want to add new script. I want to just use old script. Here we go. Okay, let's see. And can I duplicate this? Hmm. Let's see. No, I don't know if I want to do the whole variant thing. So we'll just go ahead and get rid of that for now. Let's see. Okay. I'm not sure. I don't see anything here that allows me to kind of duplicate here about. See. See. Duplicate. Okay, there we go. Ultimate Hunter. Okay, so now if I wanted to, I could do that. Ghost, Goblin, and the ultimate. Now let's see. Alright, okay. Let's go ahead and add these guys in here. Components, scripts, ghost. Components, scripts, ghost. Let's see, do this for gold as well. Scripts, goals, goals, scripts, and goals. Okay, so those two are done. Goblin. Goblin. And Goblin. Okay, and now come back up here, save that real quick. Let's see, so we want Goblin there, Goblin Hunter, Goblin Trapper. There. Cool. Cool Hunter. Cool Trapper. And then Ghost. Ghost Hunter. Ghost Trapper. Alright. Is that the correct way to do it? I don't really know. for the time being, that's the way things are gonna be for now. Um, but there was a reason why I was trying to figure out whether or not, um, the prefab itself was kind of causing a problem with this or not, or if there's a problem with, the script versus the prefab. Um, but so far, I've been kind of met with difficulties on this. So, okay, so I'm gonna assume that I'm not gonna have uh, any additional problems by adding in these because I haven't really activated them at all. I'm still just kind of dealing with the humans. But so yeah, not exactly great right at the moment. 7 and 4, 8 and 6. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, let's go. So let me see what I can do about trying to. Let me see what I can do about maybe merging the. Well, right now I have both of them set to the hexagonal grid. That's all well and good, but it's not lining up with the tile map with its parent. So, component type grid layout group can't be added to human because it requires a change of transform type. It's not supported via limited asset editing. Okay. Hmm. Add a layout element to override values. What is that actually doing? I don't really know. Hmm. I don't know. I think that this might be something a little bit different. I don't see any change in the overall look of this as I'm modifying these. So I feel as though this is something that I'm not needing to worry about, or at least not right at this point in time. Yeah, I'm not seeing any kind of change in this whatsoever. Just go ahead and remove these for now. Not what I wanted. At least it definitely felt like it wasn't anything that I wanted right at the moment. Um, hmm. What is going on here? The size of the asset is fine, but this border around it is feeling way off. See, I'm changing it based off of the, I'm kind of moving, as I'm moving the position, I'm also modifying the positioning in the background as well. But as you can kind of see, the location where this guy is at, like the center point here is right on the edge. So like, if I move it here, you can see that the positioning with the background isn't really matching up with the tiles themselves, and that's where I'm not sure what's going on, why we're having such a hard time with this. Oh boy. Okay. Well, not much I can. I'll continue working on this, obviously. Sorry about if you're hearing the background noise. Okay. Selectable. Hmm. I have a funny feeling that this selectable might be something useful later on, so I'm gonna just go ahead and add them in for now. And the reason why I'm doing that is because if a player wants to have one of them go to a particular um, tile, then they should be able to select them and say go here. So at least I'm hoping that that's what this is all about. So hold on, switch back to the standard humans here. Um, to worry about network. Mm, parent constraint. Hmm. Hey there. How's it going there, bud? Pritsky. Welcome back to the stream. What have you been up to lately? I'm good, but tired, but now I'm learning to make my MMO into HDRP. Not familiar with that one. Hard drive roleplay? Probably not. Not familiar with HDRP. High definition render pipeline. Okay. Yeah, that's well beyond where I'm at right now. uh, do I want this? I don't know if that's something that I need. It's the new rendering of Unity. Okay. Gotcha. Uh, right now, if I don't know if you've been kind of keeping track of what I've been up to lately, but right now I'm trying to figure out why the positioning of my prefabs are not lining up with the tile map that well, the assets that I have right now, um, I have them under the tile map resources, but their positioning is still off. So it hasn't been working for me. See, the position here is correct. I mean, the position X and Y is correct. However, their position based off the tiles themselves are not. See, this one's 8 and 6, this one is 7 and 5, and they should be probably here and here in terms of the um, tile map, but I have not been able to figure out why I'm having that much of a problem with the placement. I've been able to work on the size of the units themselves, but I haven't been able to get um, them to kind of work with the tile map resources. Place them inside an empty game object and call the new prefab. not sure what you're referring to here. Um, if you go ahead and use the image, I'll use the corner as pivot. Place them in a game object. Pivot is the game object. Your image, you can offset it then. Okay. No, I mean, any help is definitely welcome right at this point. I've been trying to. I've been banging my head up against this particular issue for past like 3 weeks now, and I've not been able to figure out how to line up the prefab with the tile map. So um, I'm just not quite sure how to go about doing that. Place them inside an empty game object. Let's see. Hmm. Problem is that I'm not quite sure how to go about doing this. Call it new prefab. Especially using the code that I've already built. Um, okay, so right now the my human class is supposed to take in um, all supposed to hold all details about the human in question. You know, how much hit points do they have, how many resources collected, and so on and so forth. Um, do I put the empty game object within the human or within its abstract class of agent? Or do I put it here within the game manager? Okay. So you're suggesting put it into an empty game object. That I can't tell. I'm not a coder. No worries there. No worries. I have to figure this part out. I know that everything must be a game object. Yeah. Well, I've heard your suggestion before. I wasn't, or at least I think I've read it up before, but I wasn't sure how that equates to. I mean, I already have prefabs of these, so um, So instantiate makes a copy of them, and I'm trying to set them to the class, the script itself, so that it can use the functions contained within human. Um, but the um, but with your suggestion of making it an empty game object, not sure how to get that to work. Hey DevVB, welcome to the stream. How's it going there, bud? The problem is that my AI agents are being placed in the wrong positions, and I'm trying to figure out how to get them positioned correctly. You see, the spawn center is here, and the spawn zones for these particular AI agents are this, this tile, and that tile. So these guys that are up here are way off base, and they haven't been merging with the tile map resources, which is supposed to be the same layer that they're on. So that's what I've been trying to figure out, why my positioning here isn't lining up with the positioning of the hex tiles. So that's the issue that I'm currently dealing with right now. So, and I haven't been able to figure that out. Now, Kugitsky's attempt for placing them inside an empty game object called the new prefab. Just go ahead and use the image. I'll use the corner as pivot. If you place them in a game object, the pivot is the game object. Just use a gizmo to draw a position as you may be trying to fix something that does not need fixing. Okay, I've never dealt with gizmos before. Yeah, I'm fairly new to Unity altogether, and so I'm still kind of learning as I go. So, I mean, I know my way around coding systems. I just don't know, or I know my way around code. I just haven't used Unity, so I'm still trying to learn all that. So, um, you should be able to, Dev. If not, give me the name of the website, and I can always try to find it that way. I believe I've enabled Nightbot to allow for it, so. Kugitsky. Nice. Alright. Let me look that up there, Dev. Easiest explanation. I don't know, man. Sometimes the documentation from Unity hasn't always been stellar, so. But then again, they're constantly updating their documentation as they go anyway. So, um, okay, so I've seen gizmos before. The problem that I have with gizmos though is the fact that they seem that they only draw certain objects, like, say a cube, a sphere. So how can I make them work with the prefabs that I've already kind of uploaded? Because this just draws a sphere. Um, it doesn't work with the prefab that I'm trying. Well, I mean, this the sprite will change eventually. Okay, I don't um, when I start getting into the point where I want um, this isn't the final version for my art. I want something a little bit better for when I do eventually launch it, but these are just kind of placeholders for now. But until I can maybe find an artist that's willing to kind of join me on this venture, or uh, that kind of want is okay with helping me with the art assets that I can then use in the game proper. But that's further down the line. um, I mean, draw sphere at position that the AI should be at to see if that is set correct. Okay, well, I'm already seeing the fact that the position's not being set correctly, but I mean, okay, so you're saying let's go ahead and use, let's see, we should have everything pretty much good here. Okay, so if I do look at the code again, make sure that I'm doing it correctly here. Color is equal to color. Let's just kind of do red, I guess. Or it's probably lowercase, seeing that yellow is also lowercase. So gives us draw sphere. Found dot transform dot position, and then there was a 1. Not that, not there. It needs to be with inside an on draw. Uh, inside an on draw. Is that within the abstract class that I'm trying to do? So, like, So something like that. Ooh, wait, let me go ahead and pull this down here. Okay, does the onDraw work with abstract classes or no? And do I need to call this every single time that I want it to activate? Never tried, to be honest. Okay, no worries. Um, I ask because agent is being used as an abstract for all of my AI agents, so um, called automatically. Okay, so it's based off of the background of the Unity. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and stop Unity from continuously playing the game. Let's see. Valid token void in class structure interface member declaration.
Hey Jim.
What's going on there? Hey, what's up?
Hey, I made an omelet and there was leftover. Do you want it?
Not right at the moment. Thank you though. It's probably dealing with this right here.
You know, I'm extra like that. What do you want to watch?
Mm, okay.
I'm good. I'm just grabbing
Let's
something.
see. Oh, right. Simple enough fix.
Any napkins or?
Okay.
Thank you for the idea of making them.
Um, the size of those spheres are a little large. Is there any way that I can actually reduce down the size of them? Um, let's see. The radius. Okay, so that's the problem. Um, okay, so we're gonna want to put that down to maybe 0.25. Oh, can I convert from double to float? Okay. Wait, what? Decimal point is a floating point number. I guess I have to add the F in there for it to be recognized as a float. Whatever. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I find it strange that I have to actually add in the F um, when just using the one is perfectly fine. It's like, wait, what? A little inconsistent there, but whatever. Okay, so what does this tell me? I understand that it's a whole number. It's just the the fact that it's forcing you to use the F for a decimal point that it should already be recognizing in the first place. Um, but whatever. Like I said, it, I don't understand the engine's um, idea that a floating point automatically sets itself to a double every single time and not a floating point, which is basically it's the same style in the sense that it's using decimal places. It's just the the size of the floating point versus double is different. So that's why I'm like, what's the point of that? Why not allow for your um, why not allow for the engine to recognize the fact that it might not be a double, it might be a float, but whatever. That's engine construction that it's they're doing it the way they want to do it. I'm not gonna go into that kind of debate. So uh, okay, gotta use with what I got to use with. So okay, so this is showing the pivots being at the top, but that doesn't necessarily help me in the sense that it's still not lining up with the tile map resources itself. So the the agent itself should in this particular instance, this agent right here should be right there, and that agent right there up here should be positioned right there based off of what I'm gathering. Okay. But the position of X and Y that I'm seeing right now where they are currently located is not the same as the positions that were originally given to them in terms of where the tiles are placed in the tile map itself. And that's what's kind of confusing me. I'm trying to keep with I don't want to be doing calculations to move the agents to specific positions on the tile map when the tile map itself already has those, the integer positions to begin with. So I'm trying to work with that to try to get it to match with each other. So, and that's why I'm kind of confused as to why the using the tile map coordinates is not translating to the agents when their parent itself is the tile map. I'm trying to keep the resources, these trees and vines and the like, on the same layer that the AI agents are supposed to be on, because these agents are going to be going to said trees and whatnot and collecting, or you know, they're going to be colliding with the resources, and therefore, um, I'm going to be having some resource collection alike from that, um, but the positions are not matching up correctly, and that's what's throwing me off with this. And I'm not sure how. I've been kind of, you know, uh, I haven't been able to find anything that has been. Um, I haven't found anything yet that has been able to help me figure out why it feels like these agents are still being placed on on what it seems like a square-based tile map versus the hexagonal tile map, but I'm not sure. And um, I don't want to be like, scouring through multiple different um, videos trying to find a solution for the problem. So, draw a gizmo not at the position they should be. Okay, the positions that are that are being used here is based off the tile map. Okay, the when as I'm building um, the overall tile map of it all, I have the position of the tile based off its row and column, and using the um, let's see, let me find the um, let's see, using set tile, I can actually put down using the positioning of the, integers of row and column, I can actually set the tiles based off of those particular integer values, and therefore get the position of the tiles in the right position in order to draw the map. I'm trying to use the same exact row and column values to position the AI agents, seeing that they should be the same. You know, the AI agent should be using the same tile map, or um, the hexagonal um, tile map, to be positioned based off of the row and column. Now, I could I could go to the Red Block games, and I could take the positioning of the integers and try to convert it into a calculation where it will always try to center it based off of the calculations made, um, and try to work with it that way. But it seems very counterintuitive to have to, um, use, um, you know, a trying to build the positioning from the hex or from the square-based tile set that they appear to be using into the hexagonal tile map that I am using. So um, setting a tile position is different than getting. I built an Android game using tile maps. The main issue I had was getting the tile world position. So, are you saying that I'm basically fighting against the engine itself? It's not going to let me conform to the hexagonal tile map. It will always stay in the um, square-based map, and therefore I'm gonna have to make the calculations anyway every single time. Please tell me that's not the case. I would hate for it to be. Give me a minute looking at my code. No worries there, Dev. No worries. Um, I'm really hoping that that's not the case because, like I said, I really don't want to be trying to recalculate out the row and column each and every single time that I even want to potentially do an animation. I mean, it seems quite counterintuitive to having to convert the row and column to the square based system, then try to make the proper calculation for where the agent is walking towards. So having to reset the position and the tile based to make it appear as though they're still kind of going in the right um, angle based off of the hexagonal tile maps. I mean, they put in the hexagonal tile map to allow for us to work with the hexagonal tile map, but so far, if I can't get the AI agents to conform to the tile map itself, then what's the point of having a tile map? um, Factor 3 rule point, radius point. Hmm. Okay, is your vector 3 int position um, is that what you use for your transform position? You do like transform position is equal to world to cell world point. Well, I mean, you're using it for the camera, so I guess it doesn't really matter all that much in that regards. Hmm. Okay. But in this case, I'm using the integer values um, for the tile maps themselves. So would I have to use cell to world to change the position of the AI agents themselves? Let's see. So let's see. If I do, let's see. It's hmm. Okay, let's hold off on that for now. So if I do, let's see, do something like that. Hmm. Okay, I don't appear to have any kind of errors right at the moment, so let's go ahead and move on. Okay. Yeah, so I had this problem before. Is it trying to position it right here, or is that its position? No, it's not fixed. It's trying to use 7 and 6. So that's where it should be that's where it should be being placed right there on this particular tile. So it's close. It's not close enough, and that's why I'm getting kind of thrown off with this. See, it should be right there. So maybe I messed up somehow. I've been trying to work with these prefabs that I downloaded from the asset store, but um, I don't know um, I'm not sure if I might have like screwed it up in some fashion or another. I'm not I'm not 100% sure. I, I've been trying to work on this for a couple of weeks. I've been doing all sorts of different crazy things to try to get this to work properly. So I'm wondering, is it trying to center it right here? Is that the actual center? The pivot being up there? And therefore this is where it's trying to position it, even though it's supposed to be down here. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not quite sure how to fix that. Center is red dot. Okay, so the pivot point is there. Okay, so why is it off then? Now you used um, raise in order to get the position set. Um, is that the is that the preferred method of going about doing this? Like just try to get a ray for the position um, for the prefab in this question, and then try to set it or try to reposition it for that world point maybe. Yeah, that's exactly what um, Krugitsky was talking about earlier. So I'm thankful that he was kind of talking about the empty object. Um, where do you go about doing that kind of development? Is that built into? Is it recommended to kind of build that into the game manager, where I'm trying to instantiate the each of the AI agents? Or do I put that under the classes themselves? Like in this case, I'm trying to put the positioning of it. Okay, I'll try to do that. There's that. make a new prefab. So what I do, right click on the game object and let's see. On child 0 out X, Y, and Z in the rect transform, I'm assuming. And make prefab, drag the object to project folder. Right. Do I need to zero out did I need to zero out the X, Y, and Z for the game object itself, or do I need to, was it just the child that I needed to zero out? Yeah, but if you double click on the on in project, that's how you edit them. Okay, so seeing that I wasn't getting this one to work the way I wanted it to work, I modified this, created a new game object. Then I can change the positions on the game object itself, and then I can then use that for, then I can add in the sprite renderer, animator, rigid 2 body, box slider, human, and all that jazz into this new game object, and it will work for me properly. I'm 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 making the assumption that I take the components that I've originally added to the human prefab that I originally had, add the components to this new game object. I can then name it as the human prefab that I want, getting rid of this old one that I have. Then I can then add this human to my game manager so that it will work properly. Now, it, you know, I'm gonna make the assumption that I'm basically answering my questions, and yes, that's the route that I'm gonna need to go in. Um, Now, my question to you in this, I mean, you've obviously been kind of working with Unity for a while. You know quite a bit of what you've been dealing with Unity. My question is why, what was going on? Where was the disconnect here? Was it just the fact that the prefabs from the asset store wasn't being lined up with the tile map itself? Oh, I can imagine. Like um, you've definitely been kind of working on Unity for a while. I definitely get the experience. So I appreciate everything that you're doing here, man, and um, everything that you're doing for me. And with that, um, I'm gonna make a small note down here. You've been helping me out quite a bit on trying to get this, so I want to include you in the credits if you don't mind. I mean, if you want me to use your real name, feel free to let me know, but I'm okay if you don't want me to. So sometimes people want to keep their, um, um, some people want to keep their personal life kind of separate and stuff like that. So, um, but you're helping me get through a key portion of this game. So I want to make sure that uh, you know, uh, I'm giving credit where credit is due. you know, so um, but my question is still kind of curious on this. The where was the disconnect here? Why would this be causing a problem and not this? Seeing that it's pretty much the same exact assets. Why is one better than the other? I want to learn this so I don't make that same mistake again. And for anyone that is like ever watching these videos in the future and are having the same kind of problems, the I want to know why. I mean, if this game object does work over the original, which we haven't gotten to yet, I'm just kind of um, wanted to find out why the making of an empty game object and putting the prefab into it resets whatever values contained within it to make it work with the scene in question. That's all I'm kind of curious about right now. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and add in these other components. Body 2D, Claire 2D. Script. See which human. I don't know whether or not I need this grid. I added in just because I wasn't sure. And I'll go ahead and add in the selectable at least. Might as well add in the grid as well for now. I don't, like I said, I don't know whether or not I actually need it, but okay. The pivot looked off and using as a child is easier edit, in my opinion, like asset. I just purchased models were all off by -16 on Z, so I made them all children and adjusted. Also using children can help you as importing objects, say from Blender. Why is not up? Okay. So basically making it a child of a new game object allowed for you to readjust its positioning based off of the new object. Making it a prefab allows for you to basically center said object around it. Therefore, you can basically use that to your advantage on that. Okay. Okay, so that's good for if you're using assets the from the store, especially if it's free assets. So um, now, does that work for any kind of prefabs, or can you use it for just like um, can you use it for any kind of like sprites or anything along those lines? Like you just kind of want a sprite in there for the time being. Obviously, animation is gonna have to come later down the line, at least for me, when I want to move these agents from one position to another. Um, but I wanted to see, uh, the, can you do that with just like a sprite, an image, something like that? You can just kind of create an empty game object, throw the image in there, and it will kind of work as a, you know, the position and the like. And thank you for the answer, by the way. That it does help out. Search up Code Monkey on YouTube. He does a lot of 2D. Yeah, I think I've heard of him. All right. So we're going to go ahead and rename this from now into something different, so we don't have a double up on objects. Rename that to human. Now go to game manager and we're going to replace human with, or human one with human. So now should be able to just get rid of human one. We'll go ahead and get rid of this. Save the scene and let's see if this works now. Wait. Oh. Uh. Oh, where is it? Um, yeah, there it is. You deleted the nest prefab? No, I think my main problem here was the fact that the gravity was set. So, wait. Oh boy, okay. I thought because I moved it down here into the prefab, it kept it. I guess not. Okay. He deleted human one, the child. Well, is there an actual restore here? Well, I mean, if okay, if necessary, I have the prefabs still kind of in play. Um, down below here if I really wanted to. So, so it's not like I've completely lost the original prefab. So, but if I want to get the human to work with what I need, okay. So, okay. So let's see. Game object, create empty. We want to put that there. Change that to, actually we'll just keep it the same, right? So then we'll go here, drag this down here. Oh, hold on. I want to make sure that I'm getting this correctly here. 2D, black slider 2D, scripts, human, animator, selectable, and grid. No. Okay, now we go to change the gravity scale to 0. Now we should be good here. Don't need that. Human, game manager, human, save, and let's try this again. I seem to be off by a little bit here. Let's see, default layer, put that in the plugin. Going to turn that off. Not correct, not correct in positioning here. You just kind of see him behind the veil there. Scale seems a bit off. How do I go about fixing this then? Okay. Hmm.
Because I have some college students told me that just brings the gas when you clean that. Um, do you see that coming? Something like that is pretty possible. He knows what I have. He's really good at cooking. It's really delicious. It's not like you buy it and it burns. You know, it's all out of the Great Lakes. It's done at home. You know what I meant? Yeah, it's good. With what? I don't know. The only things I hate is vegan. I understand only like vegan. No, that's all right.
The child is just C.
Interesting.
Okay, so
Food for humans.
I'm gonna have to redo this again to make an empty game object, put the prefab in there, adjust the position so that it's always going to be at a -1, the same as the tile map resources, and then um,
Oh, fair enough. No, don't that much. Not fair enough like that. Fair enough.
all right, okay,
Or something like that.
so
No, what did you say?
something like so, and
Salt, just being honest. So, it was just so quick. No, we had to fry. Oh, that's my video. Wait a minute. This doesn't even play.
no, that didn't.
It's not your video.
Okay.
You're not allowed to hide behind your calendar anymore. Well, that's good. Why? Oh, time though? Yeah. Well, you never told me that there was time restrictions.
Still hiding in the background.
Okay. Good. Take a day and a half, so you know. I'll give you a check for the day. You're hired.
Hmm. Could be that my position here is screwing up, but that's kind of odd because the board manager I was using a -1 for the resources
Okay.
to allow for it to be above the that appear above the base world map. See this right here. So what am I missing on this? Hmm.
Second chance. No, it's not that much loss. Infinity?
Whilst in play mode, adjust the Z. You may need to further the value. Further and spawn the object to test.
Serious? Really? Really? Yes.
And it's not working. Okay.
In the past,
Changing the C values on the
I told
position on the original and the child has not had any effect. Try adjust C on actual map. Like the game board itself, the resource map, or the baseboard. That might be the issue there. Nope. Try even taking the spawn objects out of the tile map so they're no longer children. No, there's no change on that. It appears as though the Z direction is not changing its overall depth of field on this, which is quite odd. Right. Hmm. Setting it, not set on the child. Oh, okay. There we go. That was the issue. The the child in question was not having the sorting and order and layer set. So that's where the problem was. But now we are still a little off center on the character. The positioning is off again, but we can work on that. See, I don't know why this one in particular is way off base, but we can, like I said, I can work on trying to get that fixed, figure out what where the problem lies on it. But the pivot on these are not being, it's not, it feels the pivot is in up on the top portion of the sprite itself and not actually in the center. So how do I adjust that? How do I get the center to be there? Hmm. Let's go back in here. It's saying that it's in the center. So drag child to correct position, remember. So I see paste values into the prefab. Well, remember that I'm going to be changing its positions each and every single time. It's not I'm having the position being randomized based off of the code base. So I got to be careful with um, the putting direct values into the prefab. I don't want to. I need to make sure that the values used in it is the same overall. Uh, Change a spawn object's child post as that post is local to its parent. So what? Just take these values, put them there.
Hey, how's it going? Dinner? Yeah. Hey,
Is that what you're saying?
I don't want it too long.
If that's the case, it's way off.
Well, I mean,
Maybe I don't need the,
see,
maybe I don't need the world position anymore.
all right, I'll come by then. Have a drink. Yeah.
Or maybe I don't need maybe I don't need to sell the world anymore. Yeah, let me try this.
I'm not. So hold on, boss. You got your order? Where's the receipt? On this order. So, you still gonna chase me? Not if I owe it to you. You would.
Oh no, that didn't work.
Interesting. Gee, that's tough.
Sorry.
Yeah, who does payment then?
Wanted to check.
Take care of it if anyone gets too much time. You take care of it next week when you're in. It's no trouble.
Hmm.
Come on, take me here out. What do you want? I can't right now. This isn't what it's here for. No.
Well, the circle, if you can barely see it there, is in the well is it's in a correct spawn point. I don't know if it's the spawn point. Um, see the position is supposed to be 8 and 7, and that is the last one on that particular column. So it's in the right it's in the right spot, but the sprite itself is off center. Let the child set y to say zero point 0.5. Okay, so I'm gonna have to manipulate the position of the child, change preform, the prefab to reflect um, this, basically this position. So if I say do something, say like 0.75, then we'll go to this, change that into 0.75. play this again. There we go. Now, okay, the circle itself is still centered, so that's good. Okay. Winning. Dev, thank you very much, man. You have no idea how many weeks that I've kind of been working on this to try to get these spawn points to kind of work with each other. Now, obviously, there were some positions being used um, that weren't correct. So, like for example, this is working as intended, but there were other times where the positions were off base. So I'm gonna need to figure out if that was a just a problem with the overall um, positioning calculations, or if there's something else that's going on here. See, like for example, this one right here. Um, this one is off base, so this one is supposed to be at 6.4. Wait, 6.4 isn't supposed to be a spawn position. Okay, well, it looks like I got some debugging to figure out here. Why is it considering 6.4 tile position? So that means that the positions that are surrounding my home base is not um, it's not lining up correctly. So we're gonna have to try to figure out why that is, so we can fix the spawning, so that we can get the position correct on here. So let's see. Let me verify that we are indeed. I'll verify that this is indeed 6.4. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that is indeed 6.4. Okay. And 5 is where the human city is. Yep, 7.5. So I gotta figure out where my problem lies with this particular row again. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Dev, thank you very much. I appreciate what you just did for me, man. That that I've been kind of hitting my head up against the wall for a while now, trying to figure out what I needed to do in order to get those sprites to line up the way I needed it to line up. So now it's just a matter of debugging the spawn points again, get that worked out, and then um, we'll see about trying to work on um, movement in this case. Trying to figure out. Um, we'll start working on pathing for these guys. Figure out um, making sure that the A-star pathfinding is working properly, finding the necessary resources and the like, being able to kind of traverse the map at random without any kind of difficulties, and then we'll see about adding in the um, other characters and like. So when I do get some additional art assets or additional prefabs built for this game, then we'll I'll have to basically take what I've built so far in these and basically duplicate them using the same kind of method, creating a new object, putting the prefab as child under it, and then basically duplicating everything that I have over in the inspector in the new object with new art style, and we'll go from there. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so let's see about trying to fix these spawn points again. Which means we're going to go back to the board manager here. And we're going to look up where we are getting the human city set and the position surrounding it. No, wait. That's not being done in the board manager. That's being done in the game manager. I think, wait. Or is it... No, we're calling the spawn human, which checks out the spawn points, which... Right, okay, never mind. Let's see. Spawn human... But we are still getting the hex tiles that are set in these particular positions, but they're still slightly off on them. Huh. Okay, the spawn positioning for the city was set to 7.5. But the spawn location is set to 6.4 for the southwest. Hmm. Right, it's looking at 6-5 as my human spawn location, but that's not correct. Hmm. Let's try this again. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, so the human city looks like it spawned again at 7-5. Nope, okay, it's 8-6. So let's see. 7-6, 7-5. Hmm. It's looking like it's the spawn points are slightly off when I do. Yeah, see, here we are again. Whenever I hit a 7-5 on my positioning, slightly off. It's as though it's thinking that it's 6-5. But that's not the case. Okay, let's see. Or 6-4 again. Six four. It's right where the one spotted at. 6-5 is that one. 7-6. Let's confirm that position here. 4-5-6. 7-6. Hmm. Okay, so the position is. It's looking like I'm gonna have to look at my code for the southwest a little bit. Because even though it might be working for some instances, it's not working for all. Hmm. just doing this to make sure that the values that I'm getting out of the tiles themselves, the hex keys, are indeed what's being translated. I just don't want to have any kind of surprises there. Um, let's see. Okay, this might actually be a little different than what I really need here. So, those should be working. Why are we having a problem with that right at the moment? Okay, it's nice that they're both kind of stacked in the same spot, but that doesn't really help me right at the moment. But we can look to see. Okay, let's see. Here, hold on. Make things a little bit easier on me. Um, see. Okay, so that should give me a rough estimate as to where everything is right at the very beginning here. Which so far it's matching up correctly on that. Good. I won't have any problems here either. Whenever it switches to the position of, I think the 7-5, this might have an issue. Yeah, it does. Okay, so 8-5, that's fine. Okay, these positions are good. Or is it? Hmm. Okay, so the the positioning here is correct considering the city position, but that's not translating correctly to what we're seeing here for some reason. And why is that? Human City is supposedly being placed at 8-5, which is correct. But with 4, we're looking at 7 and 8. starting at 3. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hmm. So be okay. So here's where the problem lies right at the moment. So because I'm having to adjust um, the positioning. Okay, so let me try to explain it. Explain the issue right at this point. Okay, so let's go back up to the map storage, right? Okay, so we have our up triangle right at this time, correct? Well, the the problem that we're having with this is the fact that um, we're having to kind of adjust um, we're having to kind of adjust the positions of this a little bit more so that it can um, kind of work correctly. But maybe I'm still kind of screwing up things a little bit in my map maker, because even though the the city spawn position is at 8.5, makes me kind of wonder. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's correct. So are we having a problem with 4? Let's see. Looking at 6 as well, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This should be 8 and 9. We're not getting 8 and 9, we're getting 7 and 8. Hmm. having that issue again. It's been a while since I've messed with the map, so the spawn points aren't being set correctly because the board position isn't really being set either. Why was that again? I'm adjusting it somehow based off of the placement of the tiles. Hmm. Okay, this is the offset. Maybe I need to add that into the X value as well. Oh, but the X value is being set in the X value already. So I shouldn't need this. Hmm. Besides, this is going to subtract a value to it anyway. In this case, hmm. Okay, let's try this here. So take that, we're going to move that down here. Take you, we're going to move you there. And then this might actually be fixed. I don't know about this. Whoops. Okay, we definitely went way off base on this one, didn't we? Yeah, the position in here is way off. The city position is going to be 7-5. Then we need to have 6-5 and 8-5, not 8-5 and 10-5. It's looking as though this is supposed to be a 9 than anything else. So we're screwing up there. Hmm. I didn't really change much on that, so yeah, still having the same issue there. The positions are good here, but the northwest and the north and the south positions are off. It should be 7-6 and 8-6. Hmm. ahead and, oh, damn it. Let's put the x and the value back into here. Oh, oh. I think this is where I'm gonna have to check to see whether or not y is going to be a positive or negative, odd or even. So if y minus 2 is equal to 0, meaning that's good, then we can use following neighbors. Else, take this and we're going to get rid of the negatives here. Now let's see what happens. Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Position is 8-6. So you have 7-6 and 9-6, which is good. And here you have 7-7 and 8-7, which is good. Seeing that that's a spot that should be cleared anyway, so we're good there. And it's looking like the alignment was correct. Should be fine there. So position is 8-6. So you're looking at 7-7 and 8-7 and 8-5. Okay. That's looking good. Yeah. We gotta wait until we get a position or a city position that isn't outright centered. Because remember, the city can be placed in any one of these three positions. The fact that it keeps on getting put here, though, is interesting. Nope, here we go. Good. So city position is being set at 7-5. East east west is 6-5 and 8-5. Northwest is 7-6 and 8-6. Southwest is 7-4 and 8-4. So spawn locations found at 7-4 and 8-6. Okay, there we go. So it's just a matter of trying to get the because I'm having to adjust the map a little bit. The um, the neighbors were um, being slightly off. Hmm. It's not really matching up with what I have over here from Red Bluff, though. Hmm. That causes me a little bit of concern at the moment, so. Weird that the undraw gizmos isn't being drawn, but to be fair, I don't really need this anymore. At least for now. I'll go ahead and just kind of deal with that for now. Hmm. I screw myself over doing this? Hmm. Not sure. We're probably gonna have to worry about that at a later time. I need to take a break. Been going at this for over 3 hours. Thank you, Dev BB, for helping me out earlier. Appreciate it. Same to you as well there, Kugitsky. I appreciate you joining me on this. But I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of close everything down for now. I'm right now I'm a little worried that this if else statement is going to cause me problems later. Right now it feels as though I'm doing the right thing in that we're now having the spawn positions being placed in the right, but I don't know if that will hold when I maybe like go up a level or whatnot. So say for example I go to the game manager and I say, okay, we're going to change the um, we're going to change the monster level to say let's go to 1, for example. Are we going to have the exact same problem with our spawn points here? Are we good for... The middle spot should be there. Oh, I may need to come back to the map again. So when this is at a placement where it's directly center, the city should be centered, but it's not being set as centered. So I'm gonna have to come back to the map again. It looks like the spawn location's kind of worked out, but it's not really helping the overall problems of it all. Okay, so 6, 7, 11, 8, 9, 8, and 9, 9. Those are good spawn points. So it's finding the spawn points okay based off of the positioning of the city and its neighbors. But the spawn point for the city itself is off. It should be at 10.7 right here. So I think next week I'm going to try to work on that a little bit. Let's go ahead and close this down. Okay, so done. And done. Let's see. Giving credit where credit is due. Okay, so move this down to tasks that haven't been completed. I'm still kind of keeping them in a relative order, so let me go ahead and reset this here. Okay. Position of human city is not centered on monster 1. Let's see, what was it? Monster 1, level 1. Okay. Okay. So that's what we're going to be kind of tackling next week. Still gonna need to, still gonna be kind of like working on everything here. So we're gonna need to fix our trampers and hunters accordingly. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for tonight there, folks. So, alright, with that being said, thanks to the help from DevBB, finally got through positioning problems. So now we need to fix up all the little problems here and there, trying to fix everything up. But we'll see what we can do there. It's going to be interesting if I have to kind of switch things around each and every single time that I've switched level. Well, that's something to worry about next week. But I will be uploading these videos to my YouTube channel, so feel free to check that out. I got a link down below for that channel. Feel free to check that out. And I have multiple different playlists for games and my coding streams, so hopefully that interests you in some fashion or another. I also have links to my Discord, my Patreon, and my Twitter account down below on my Twitch channel, as well as in the description of my YouTube videos. So feel free to check those out if you'd like. We have We're going to be continuing my gameplay of fourth Warframe. Almost said War Thunder. No, I'm not playing War Thunder right at the moment. I already have uh, too many games on my system at this time. Anyway, um, and ones that take up a lot of space. So um, I have um, I have a schedule down below on my Twitch channel, so you can tell when I'm streaming and what I'm streaming. Um, Monday and Tuesday is my Warframe gameplay, and Wednesday is my Wednesday Warships or World of Warships gameplay. So, if any of that interests you, feel free to check on back on that. Um, we'll continue working on GGG next week. If that's all you're interested in, that's perfectly fine. I do not mind whatsoever. So, um, it's going to be a slow grind to get this to um, a working application, but that's okay. Slow and steady, man. Slow and steady. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll see you next time. I do this daily from 2 to 6 p.m. PST. So, take care. Have a good night to strangers, and I'll see you next time.